Solo Sikoa is super over as a babyface, but now might be forced to rejoin the bloodline. Raw is over. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about the whole Solo Sikoa situation. The first segment of the night, Solo Sikoa kicking off the show. He got interrupted by Jey Uso. This segment was great. Solo was so charismatic, even better than last week. He was hilarious. He was doing everything right. The crowd was loving it. Jay challenged him to a match later tonight, or later that night, and if Jay won, Solo would fall in line, join the Bloodline, which we'll get to in a second, and if Solo won, the Bloodline would leave him alone forever. And I was like, this is great. Solo's a full-fledged babyface now. He was mentioning the town name, which is something that only babyfaces do unless they're insulting them. I was like, this is great. I am so excited. They get it. They're going to have a full-on babyface Solo Sikoa run. Everybody in the comments was loving it, saying this man should never be a heel again, and it was absolutely awesome. But then, since we can't have fun things, they had to go and ruin it in the main event by having Jey Uso win, and that means that presumably Solo has to fall in line with the bloodline. And I'm really hoping that somehow, some way, they just find a way to not have him fall in line. Because this would be so bad. Solo would probably be fine in the bloodline, but he would flourish so much. He would get so popular if he is on his own as a single star, not in any faction, just being charismatic, being awesome, being funny. I really hope WWE realizes that this would kill so much momentum that Solo Sikoa has right now, and I hope they realize that and find a way to not have him fall in line, because genuinely, this would be terrible. I'm hoping and praying that the excuse for Solo can be that Jimmy Uso got involved, so it wasn't fair, and I'm really hoping they play into that, and Solo is able to avoid falling in line because of it. Because, Solo has so much momentum. He's doing so good right now. This would just be detrimental. And I looked in the comments, and basically everybody is saying that this was a terrible decision, and why would you have Solo fall in line? I really hope WWE sees and realizes how over Solo is on his own, and they don't have him join the bloodline. Roman's going to be back next week, so we're going to see what happens. The Roman Reigns #1 contendership tournament kicked off, starting with Laredo Kid versus Penta. Obviously an incredible match, and Penta ended up winning, as I assume everybody expected. Also, Guyot. There's not really much to talk about, except this was a really good match, and I'm really excited to hopefully see Penta versus Rey Fenix, and I think Penta's winning this whole thing. Then we had another match between Akira Tozawa and Austin Theory, kind of just, a whatever, nothing match, doesn't really matter at all. It was a fine match or whatever, but the main focus of this was Braun Breaker, and the entire time during the match, he was just sitting there kind of zoning out, just pissed off, not happy. During the entrance, he was trailing behind the rest of the division. After the match, Braun Breaker was about to spear Akira Tozawa, and that's when Obafemi's music hit and he came out. They had another face-off this time, and it was so much better than last week because there was no Austin Theory, no Maxine Dupree, no Logan Paul. It was just these two big meaty men alone in the ring staring each other down. Unfortunately, they didn't let them fight, but this is a full-on feud now, and I absolutely cannot wait. Please, for the love of God, by the way, just have Braun Breaker lose this title. Please. Just have him drop it. Have him give it away. Just get this title off of him so that he can leave the division at any time. There in this backstage segment with Braun and Paul, Braun was trying to get an answer to whether or not Paul thinks Oba is the future of WWE. Paul kept sidestepping the question and eventually said, "Give me a reason to not respect him." Now, the hot take for this is this feud may be a knockout blow to Braun's career if he loses. Now, I definitely don't think it would be a knockout blow to his career. I still think even if he loses this, he will have a very good future in the WWE. I don't think this will be the end of his career or anything, but I do think it would severely hurt him. Oba, he'll be just fine. He won King of the Ring. He beat Brock Lesnar. He retired Brock Lesnar. He will be just fine if he loses to Braun Breaker. So I do agree, since they are feuding, Braun Breaker 100% needs to win this. And that way, he could align with Paul Heyman. They could be together. He can be the next Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman can mold him into this like, even better version of himself. Does he need Paul Heyman? No, I don't think so. But would it help him a lot? Absolutely. I think so. Then Oba can go on to do whatever. Feud with Roman Reigns, whatever. And I've been seeing a lot of people complaining about this feud. Complaining about how Oba isn't going for Roman Reigns instead. Yes, he should be going after Roman Reigns. But let's not act like this isn't a dream feud or something. Like, people are acting like this is a terrible thing. People are acting like they're not invested in this at all. Like it just doesn't matter or something. This is a dream match. It just doesn't seem as important because Oba could be doing bigger things. But don't forget, fellas, this is an absolute dream match and a match that everybody wants to see, and a match that we are going to see probably 10 plus times at big events over the next 20 years. Then we had a promo with Stephanie Bacchia and Becky Lynch. Both of these ladies actually had a pretty solid back and forth, in my opinion. Stephanie's English did have some blips and bumps in there, but you could still very clearly tell the point that she was trying to get across, what she was trying to say, and that is very important, and her English has improved a lot. And I am loving this feud between these two ladies, and I hope that after, I assume they do the triple threat between Liv, Becky, and Stephanie, and either Stephanie or Becky wins most likely, that these two continue their feud and culminate it at the Royal Rumble, culminate it at WrestleMania, because these two, oh man, these two are great together, and when they get in the ring together, oh my lord, it is going to be unbelievable. Absolute cinema is how I would describe it. The hot take for this one, I just kind of chose because it's funny. They said, quote, "Just get this title off of this jobber, please. Doesn't matter who gets it." Totally, dude. This right here was truly terrible. Dom loses to, by the way, less than a month before one of the biggest matches in AAA history, possibly the biggest match of his career, against El Grande Americano, the biggest, most popular guy in AAA, at their biggest event of the year. We are 1 month away from that. And then here's how WWE builds Dom towards that match. Loses to a comedy character. Loses the next week to the IC champion. Or no, loses a day later to the IC champion. Yes, it was dirty. Still a loss. Then 7 days later, loses to Dragon Lee. I mean, seriously. We all know WWE sees the backlash that they are getting online for this Dominic Mysterio booking. They saw that Dom doesn't like it, and they just genuinely do not care. This is terrible. What are we doing with Dominic Mysterio? Seriously. And the even more frustrating part about this is that after Dragon Lee won, Big Ass came out and attacked Dragon Lee, took him out. So you could have just had Big Ass cause a disqualification. Literally have him come out 30 seconds earlier, and you protect Dominic Mysterio and still get everything that you want out of this. Like, seriously, why? It was so easy to protect Dominic Mysterio. It was harder to not protect Dominic Mysterio than it was to protect Dominic Mysterio here. Seriously, man, have Big Cass cause a disqualification, and that'll make him look even more like he's out of control, like he's just interfering with matches, taking out anyone whenever he wants. It will literally be a win for everyone involved. Dom gets protected, Big Cass looks more of like an uncontrollable monster, Dragon Lee doesn't take a loss going into his match in the tournament. Like, I don't get it, man. There's a backstage segment with L.A. Knight. Yeah! And he believes that he should be in the Luchador tournament. He said he'll put on a mask and enter the tournament himself if he has to. And Adam Pearce said after this tournament, he will make sure that L.A. Knight gets a title shot. Yeah! Which I cannot wait for. Then we had Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez teaming up against Soruka and a mystery partner. That mystery partner being Io Sky, which kind of an underwhelming option. Was hoping for a Lyra, even though she's a heel, hoping for a Bayley. But, you know, I'm never going to complain about an Io Sky match. And oh Lord have mercy, was this match awesome. I mean, you put three of the best women's in-ring workers in the entire company, and you get magic, because that's what this match was. That's the result. You come out with magic. And this was a really awesome finish where so Roxanne Perez went for the pop rocks. Soruka did a backflip handspring out of it, hit a super kick, and then a beautiful soul snatcher. Just absolutely incredible. Great for Soul. She's probably gonna be gunning back after the IC title, but I do have one major complaint about this match. Roxanne Perez took the goddamn pin again. Hasn't won since November 2025. She hasn't won a singles match. Seriously, this woman could genuinely be the future of women's wrestling, yet she hasn't won a singles match in almost a year. I mean, this woman is way too talented to just be a pin eater. And a lot of the comments on this post were talking about the exact same thing. The video on WWE's Twitter, that is. And I mean, seriously, man, if Roxanne Perez is just going to be eating pin after pin in the Judgment Day, like, she is genuinely just the pin eater of the Judgment Day on the women's side of things. If she's just going to do that, get this girl out of the Judgment Day ASAP. Then we had a backstage segment after that match with Soruka, Lyra Valkyria, and Io Sky. And Lyra finally getting some TV time. Just, you know, like a week or two after SummerSlam, saying how she's going to gun after the IC title, telling Soul not to get in her way. And then she was like, "What are you looking at?" to Io. And Io's reaction was awesome. She was just like, "Ew, is she okay?" It was awesome. But really hope, honestly, I know Raquel deserves this title. I know she deserves a decently long reign, but Lyra needs this more than Raquel does right now, at least. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we had a backstage segment with Chad Gable and Rey Mysterio. And basically, Chad Gable said that he wants to face Rey Mysterio in a match for the IC title. Rey, of course, accepted. I assume it's going to happen next week, and oh my god, it's going to be awesome. Absolute cinema of a match incoming. That's going to be it, though, for this Raw review. Thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want, and